Have you ever answered the phone already feeling tired because you knew exactly what was coming? Not a hello, not how are you, not a genuine conversation, just emotional chaos. Crisis after crisis, pain after pain, story after story, trauma after trauma. And somehow, every single time, you become the container to hold that trauma. The emotional sponge, the unpaid therapist, the emergency contact for someone who never asks whether you have the capacity to carry what they're dumping. They never ask you. Let me be clear, supporting friends matters. It always matters to support your friends. That's paramount, right? That's paramount. Loving people through hard seasons, that matters. I've had some of the best friends love me through hard seasons. When my mother passed away, when my father passed away, when I lost one of my best friends who died just suddenly, I had other friends there and family to hold space for me. But there's a difference between healthy vulnerability and using someone as an emotional landfill. Been there, done that. I've had that done to me on several occasions. Because if every interaction leaves you anxious, exhausted, heavy, emotionally wrung out, or secretly dreading their name popping up on your phone, this is not connection. It's not a connection. It's emotional extraction. And in today's video, our letter today, the ABCs of toxic friendships and relationships, is T. And T is for, drumroll please, trauma dumping. So, grab a snack and come on back and let's talk about what trauma dumping is all about. Hello, my beautiful souls. It's Lexi. And today we're diving into a toxic dynamic that a lot of compassionate people get trapped in, especially empaths like myself, nurturers, caregivers, and people with big hearts. Because sometimes we confuse being kind with being emotionally available to everyone 24/7. We're always available there. Sure, call me anytime. I'm there for you, right? And I want to say this lovingly. You are allowed to care about people. You're allowed to care about people without becoming their emotional dumping ground. I'm going to say that again. You're allowed to care about people without becoming their emotional dumping ground. So let's talk about trauma dumping. What it is not, and how to protect your peace without feeling guilty. What trauma dumping actually is when someone unloads intense emotional pain, trauma, crises, or distress onto another person. without consent, without your consent, without checking emotional capacity, without reciprocity, and often without any real intention of healing. They're not trying to heal. They're not trying to get better. They're just trying to unload all of their trauma onto you. And it's not the same as a healthy vulnerability. If somebody's being vulnerable, and they're upset and they come to you and they're crying, something's going on, and you guys can hash it out and you can give them some advice. It's not that. It's definitely not that. Healthy vulnerability, right? It sounds like, hey, do you have emotional space for something heavy today? And trauma dumping sounds like, bring, bring. Girl, let me tell you what happened. And 45 minutes later, sometimes more than that, your nervous system is in flames. It's ready to combust, right? It's ready to combust. Healthy sharing, that creates a connection between friends and family. Healthy sharing creates a connection. It truly, truly does, right? But trauma dumping, that creates emotional exhaustion. Emotional exhaustion. And why this happens, you ask? Sometimes people trauma dump because they genuinely have just poor emotional boundaries. They don't have any boundaries. And nobody has ever set a boundary with them, right? Sometimes because they're lonely. Sometimes because they've never learned, like I said, healthy emotional regulation. They've never learned that. And yes, sometimes because they've learned, you will always absorb it. You'll always absorb it because, I know I could call Lexi and I could tell her anything and I could talk to her for 4 hours at a time. And it's like, oh my God. I mean, honestly. And that's the uncomfortable truth. That's the uncomfortable truth. Not because you deserve it, right? Compassionate people can accidentally train others to overuse them, right? And it's not because you deserve it. It's not because you deserve it. You've shown unlimited access. And when you do that, I get caught in this all the time. I show unlimited access to myself without setting a boundary. And that has happened most recently with a few people. And I've had to say, yeah, I can't. I can't do this anymore. I can't be your crutch. I just can't. You need therapy. I've told so many people that you need therapy. Now, whether they agree with that or not, that's on them. But don't come to me for free. I'm not a paid therapist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist. None of the above, right? None of the above. And the signs, how you know? They only contact you when they're in a crisis. Only when they're in a crisis. There's no check-ins. There's no joy. No, how are you today? Not calling to just check in with you and seeing how you're doing. It's never that. Only emergencies. Only emergencies, right? Conversations are emotionally one-sided. And we talked about that in the letter O for one-sided friendships. We talked about that. And we talked about it in so many other aspects of this series. Your life, it's never discussed with them. They don't ever ask you, before I let this go, how are you doing? Are you all right? Do you need anything? What can I do for you? They never ask you those questions, right? They don't care about your feelings. They never explore your feelings. They never do. They don't care about your struggles because they don't have room for that. They don't have room for you, right? You feel drained after every interaction with this person or these people. You feel heavy, anxious, overstimulated, emotionally foggy. You're very emotionally foggy. And that's the data. That's the data that lets you know, yeah, this person has no regard for me at all. They're just trauma dumping all over me. All over me. There are no boundaries set. They skip the consent, right? They skip that. There's no warning. No. Just emotional impact, right? That's all that matters to them. That's all that matters. They don't actually want solutions because they're going to come to you with this same trauma dumping over and over and over again until you put a stop to it. You know, this isn't support. This isn't support. It's unloading. It's unloading. The same stories time and time again. The same chaos time and time again. The same cycle over and over and over and over again. But a different day. Same shit, different day. Right? So, for me, you know, to reflect on this, I mean, let's be honest. Some of us, we were conditioned, right, to believe that love means absorbing pain. That love means absorbing pain. We're a little shaky right now because we've got a visitor. Ma'am came to talk about trauma dumping. She came to talk about trauma dumping with me. That being a good friend means emotional self-sacrifice. That setting boundaries is selfish, right? That's what we're taught. That's what we were told. And no, beloved, that's not true. That's not true. Being compassionate should not require self-abandonment. You shouldn't abandon yourself because somebody else is coming in and sucking the life out of you. Absolutely not, beloved. No, absolutely not. The hard truth is, nobody says. Some people do not want support, right? They want access. These are the hard truths that nobody talks about. They don't want your support. They just want access to you. They just want access to you. That doesn't mean that they're evil. No, it doesn't mean that. But it does mean that boundaries, boundaries matter, right? But boundaries don't matter to them. Boundaries don't matter to them because your nervous system is not community property. It's not. It's not community property. So what do you say when you're in this kind of situation? What do you say? I care about you, but I don't have emotional capacity for this right now. I just don't. I don't have the emotional capacity for this right now. Can we talk about this another time when I have space? When I have space for you. That sounds really heavy. Have you talked with a therapist or support system? Do you have a support system? That's not me. And I love you, but I can't hold this today. I can't hold space for this today. I just can't. Short, clear, kind. No over-explaining. No over-explaining. They don't deserve that from you. You don't have to over-explain a damn thing to them at all. At all. If your kindness has become a doorway for emotional exhaustion, then close the door. Close it. Close that door. Lovingly, of course. Lovingly. Because protecting your peace, it's not cruelty, beloved. It's not cruelty. Boundaries are not rejection. And if that person feels that, then they have there's other issues there that you can't help them solve. They definitely need to speak to someone. Definitely need a therapist. They definitely do. Being compassionate doesn't mean becoming emotionally available. It doesn't. For unlimited damage, time and time and time again. It doesn't. The right people will respect your time and your limits and your boundaries. The wrong people will resent them. They will. They will resent them. And that tells you everything, right? We just talked about resentment, and that tells you everything. So this has been the letter T for trauma dumping in our ABCs of toxic friendships and relationships. And if this spoke to you, if this trauma dumping segment spoke to you, if you've ever been someone's emotional sponge, if you've ever mistaken emotional overload for friendship, drop a T in the comments, because we've all been there. Drop a T in the comments. I have definitely been there. And it's not fun. And when you have to explain to somebody after they have come and just trauma dumped all over you, and you have to explain to them that, yeah, that wasn't cool. It wasn't cool. You didn't ask me if you could do that to me. You didn't even check on me to see what I might have been dealing with while you were trauma dumping all over me. It's not cool. It's not cool. And we've been there. You know, without carrying what was never yours to hold, right? You can love people, but you don't have to carry what wasn't yours to begin with, beloved. You don't have to. You don't. You know, just remember that. Just remember that. So, I hope that, you know, this series is really, really resonating. It's coming to a close. We're already on the letter T. We only have like 6 more. So yeah, and then we have a brand new series that's going to come up, and we'll talk about that when we get to the letter Z. So please, I thank you so much for your support, and as always, you know that I love you plenty. I see you. I do. I do. And I know that you see this series. I see you. I do. I know this is reaching a lot of you. It is. I'm getting so many beautiful messages. So I know that this is really resonating with a lot of you. And I'm so proud of you. I thank you so much for your support through all the craziness that goes on, the things that I share. You know, we have so many people watching this series and so many in the bushes watching who think that everything I talk about is about them. And if the shoe fits, wear it. That's all I can say. Because this series was born a long time ago. It has nothing to do with whatever's going on at this moment on my channel. But there are some things here that kind of match up. Some things that kind of match up. And if you think that I'm talking about you specifically, then, you know, there's nothing I can do for you. Then you definitely need some therapy. And that's all I'm going to say on that subject. So, I'll see you on the next one. The letter U. Put it down in the comments. What do you think the letter U is for? Drop a T and then tell me, what do you think the letter U is for? I'll talk to you soon.